glam, yes ma'am, grand slam, oh my, so fly, later boring, bye-bye, cherry red, purebred, dopamine to the head, to the head, to the head.
New City.
OMG, an SUV from Italy, 500 HP, princess, red dress, hell yes, hashtag blessed, pure power, rush hour, damn.
New City.
I need a cold shower.
New City.
Cracking codes, ditching roads, heart screams, mind explodes, wide-eyed, thrill ride, no Jekyll, all hard, there we go, stole the show, say my name.
New City, Alfa Romeo FIAT, Chicago.
Hello, I'm Michael Helmstead with New City, Alfa Romeo and Fiat of Chicago, located just steps away here from McCormick Place. And I am here today with the one and only, the heart and soul of the 85 greatest Chicago Bears team in the history of the NFL, Steve Mongo McMichael.
Wow. Wow, finally an introduction that didn't have to do with Mike Singletary, Dan Hampton, or Richard Dent. My cross is to bear, my friend.
Oh, that's great stuff. So, Steve, today I want to hear like some great stories here that maybe you've never really got into before, all right? Like kind of the lifestyle of what was it like to be Steve Mongo McMichael, man, back in 1985.
Listen, guys have wanted to know my whole life, what was it like? And they're not talking about Soldier Field and what happened on the football field. They wanted to know what it's like being that celebrity and walking around town and, you know, people giving you special interest and wanting your autograph. Let me tell you, brother, it was all worth it. and for all you guys concerned, I lived it for all of us. We had a good time.
So what was your favorite city to go travel to while you were playing?
You know, Tampa Bay, when they were in the black and blue division, it'd be freezing cold up here, and we'd go down there, and it's 80 degrees and like the tropics. And they were a bad team, so we were going to win. I called them in Green Bay a day tonic, my friend. That's 4 wins a year. More wins than they got this year we'd have on Tampa Bay and Green Bay. But it was like the tropics. You know, I'd get down there, and I'd be in my shorts and flip-flops on the beach the day before the game. And I said, you know, one of these days, if it ever comes around to it, I'm going to move down here. And by God, when I got into wrestling, and they're kind of staged down there in the South, it's where Hulk Hogan and Macho lived down there by St. Petersburg.
Oh, yeah.
I bought a place down there and lived down there for a while. But you know what happened? Every day I'd hear another ambulance coming over the drawbridge to the little island I lived on to pick up another dead retiree. I realized I was living in purgatory and came back to Chicago.
So let's talk about one of them nights here, man. You go down to Tampa Bay. You guys kick some Tampa Bay ass like only the 85 Bears could have done.
Yeah.
Tell me about the night after that party that evening.
After the games, oh, we'd party, yeah. I don't do it anymore because an old man can't do that to himself anymore. But there's been stories about myself and Hampton sitting on the plane together, and we'd kick the other seats in front of us down, have a nice area. We'd have a liter of Crown Royal. And this is the news I got for these young kids, taking these pills and PEDs. If you want to kill a little pain, try a liter of Crown Royal. Mongo in pain after game. Mongo drink half liter of Crown Royal. Mongo no pain no more.
I can't believe this is how people date now. Ooh, and a sexy car. Don't let your credit stop you from getting in. Get off the dating sites and get into what you want. Experience the new X Factor, the hottest CUV from Italy for just $17,500. I had a great time tonight, and you have a really sexy car. Come on in.
Get off the dating sites and get into a Fiat.
New City, Alfa Romeo and Fiat, 24th in Michigan and Chicago, steps away from McCormick Place.
I know. I was driving while hot.
The Fiat 500X crossover. The perfect fashion accessory to complement any look, even blue steel.
Honestly, it's some of my best work.
New City Alfa Romeo FIAT Chicago.
Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, wow. So afterwards, right, the victory happens. Who's the guys you're hanging out with afterwards, man? Was it the defensive guys? Was it the offense?
Let me tell you a story that nobody knows.
There we go.
I
This is
rented-
what we've been waiting.
Back when I was in the early 80s here, I rented a place in Lake Forest a block away from Hallis Hall. And that's where we had training camp, not Platteville. We didn't go there till, mid-80s. Early 80s, we're in Lake Forest, training camp. Well, my place is right across the street from where we practiced at that field. So I'm having parties at my place, those nights after practice. Well, one night, we had some softball tournament show up, everybody at the tournament, and it's a street party. So the word gets out in Lake Forest.
Oh, this is gonna
We're
be
up
good.
all night, and we've got two-a-days the next day. We show up to practice that next morning, and you could smell us. And I'm going to rat out all my buddies that were there. Me, Dan Hampton, Mike Hartenstein, Henry Wachter, the defensive line, and some of the other stalwarts. He knew before practice started what he was going to do to us. The first thing he did, he ran his sprints and guerrilla drills. Yeah, I guess he thought we needed to wake up. Until he called, it's time to do 9-on-7 before we go to team practice, against 11-on-11. Well, 9-on-7, it's a running game. Well, we're all inebriated, my friend. And we get down in our stance, and the ball is snapped. Well, most of us come out of our stance, and there's Dan Hampton still sitting there. He started, our pet nickname for him became the Night Riders after that. Oh, you Night Riders, yeah. But you know what? This is the kind of coach I was with the Chicago Slaughter and those kids. They were professional football players coming out of college. Look, I don't care what you do, as long as you show up and you get what you got to get done. Do your job, and you're a grown man, do what you want to do. Just don't embarrass the Bears. Yeah, which has happened now in these last years, hasn't it?
Yeah, that it has. So one thing, is we all notice how sometimes, we just need help, and with whatever it is, some people need help in that credit. Some people need help just re-healing themselves or whatever it is. When you're down...
Or some people need a new car because they've never had one, and by God, I finally came up in this world. That's why you come through those doors right there.
Oh, man. So you're on the ground, right? And one of your teammates, let's just say after the play, the tackle, it happens, man. He's down on the ground, and you see somebody just maybe took advantage of the situation. Was there one story where you just maybe took care of somebody that took care of something that they shouldn't have?
There was too many guys out there looking like deer caught in the headlights on the other side of the line of scrimmage to instigate our ferocious. Everybody says, oh, you guys were vicious. No, vicious is a crime. We were ferocious, and that's self-preservation, my friend, and we survived.
You were the baddest guys in the planet, man. And you went on for years afterwards. You established yourself years afterwards in several different aspects. So let's talk about the leap from going here from being, literally one of the greatest, superstars, I think, in the Chicago era here, man. Your name will go on forever and ever.
I went from being a true, real warrior to one of the fakest acting, soap opera inducing performers that's ever been in that professional wrestling.
So how did you, though, yourself, going from literally of putting your life out there day after day, man, from those doubles every single day to going and doing this acting here, How did it actually feel for you to change from one extreme to that other?
You know, the old golfer Ben Hogan gave some advice to some young golfer looking up to him. He said, how did you come back and win after that car crash and he won the U.S. Open after, and they said he'd never play again? He said, son, there's 3 ways to win. You can outthink them, you can outwork them, or you can intimidate them. You understand? And there was an old story about Wade Wilson, who became the Bears quarterback coach under Dick Duran when they used to have the Bear Convention at the Hilton Towers just down the street. We're on Michigan Avenue here. You ought to come see this place. But this has been around for 100 years. I used to sell Model Ts in here. So just for nostalgia's sake, come over here and see this place.
This building's going to be 100 years old next year, as a matter of fact. Auburn, what was actually sold here.
You got to get the plaque on it with the National Registry, my friend. But we wrapping? All right. All right. Well, at the Hilton Towers at the convention, Wade Wilson walks up to me. He's the new Bears quarterback coach. He said, Steve, do you remember me? I said, I remember you, quarterback. He said, do you remember how guys used to come stare at us at the 50-yard line when we're warming up and just stare at us? I said, yeah, Wade, what did you guys think about that? He said, look at all those crazy MFers. And I looked at him and back at him and I said, I'm glad it had its desired effect, my friend. Because when you intimidate a team before the game starts, you win.
You've won that game.
And when you practice outworking them, outthinking them, that's in the meeting rooms and intimidate, all 3 of them, you win one of these.
Wow. Man, that is truly great. Very inspirational. I got to tell you, what an honor, what an absolute privilege it was here to meet with you today, to hear your stories. These are the stories that have never been heard, that everybody every day faces similar situations in their lives, man.
Life.
You know, if you could throw one piece of advice here at people, I mean, how do you take that next step in your life?
You have passion for what you do, because somebody that loves what they do never works a day in their life, my friend. Don't you love doing this? Don't you love selling these cars and seeing that smile? I just saw a lady just bought a car from you. She had the biggest smile on her face, and just like I've never had a new car. Holy cow.
Man.
Jesus, spreading joy.
Yes.
Well, the footsteps of Jesus, anyway. Yeah. We're not going to get megalomania over here.
Well, thank you so much, Steve, and thank you here from New City, Alfa Romeo and Fiat of Chicago, steps away from McCormick Place.
It's Mr. Lee from New City Auto Group. Got a new Alfa Romeo and Fiat plus many pre-owned vehicles, especially Toyotas. Come see me. Our chopped price. That's the New City Auto Group.
Oh damn, so glam, yes ma'am, grand slam, oh my, so fly, later boring, bye-bye, cherry red, purebred, dopamine to the head, to the head.
New City.
OMG, an SUV from Italy, 500 HP, princess, red dress, hell yes, hashtag blessed, pure power, rush hour, damn.
New City.
I need a cold shower.
New City.
Cracking codes, ditching roads, heart screams, mind explodes, wide-eyed, thrill ride, no Jekyll, all hard, there we go, stole the show, say my name.
New City, Alfa Romeo FIAT, Chicago.
I know. I was driving while hot.
The Fiat 500X crossover. The perfect fashion accessory to complement any look, even blue steel.
Hello, welcome to New City Sports here. I'm Mike Helmstetter, and I'm with the absolute legend here, top 10 goalies in the history of the world. definitely defining for the Blackhawks, but probably the world here. Betterman!
That's very generous. Very, very generous.
Like I was just talking here with Murray, growing up as a kid before the Blackhawks ever got on television, the two names you always remember in radio was Casey Kasem on FM, and actually all my memories come back to hearing Foley's voice and just announcing Betterman. So anyway, talking about history here, as we're getting back to the history of National Historic Auto Row that we're on here, and the history of the Blackhawks, and just in general, I want to hear some good things about the things you've never talked about, not to relate with hockey, but the relationships that go down in history with hockey. All right? So you're from Canada, as the accent has led us on to believe. Your favorite town to play in when you left Chicago, what was that city that you just loved to travel to?
Well, are you talking about the city I like to play in, or
Yes.
where I like to go after I finish playing? Because they're completely different.
Oh, let's talk about both here, as a matter of fact. So as it starts when you used to play, okay, what city were you always looking forward to go play at?
I loved playing in New York. There's just something about New York City, the energy, it's such a vibrant place. They always had good hockey teams. We always had a lot of success there. So I was always, I did very well there, playing in New York, and then the nightlife and everything else that went with it.
Okay, so after a good game, all right, you guys, you win the game. What are you doing afterwards?
Well, you also always have to go out and kind of wind down a little bit, right? So we always had a very close team. So we always went out together, numerous different locations, depending on what we were in the mood for. A few pain relievers, you might after a hard-fought game, and we would go out and have a few beers. And
So who was the guys that you hung around with here now? Was it the defensemen? Do they take care of you? You take care of them? How does that work after the game?
Well, I always used to tell Dennis that I liked Savard, that I used to like to go out with him after the game. And the first time I said that, he said, well, why is that? And I said, well, because I never see you during the game. You never come back in our own zone. So I like to hang out with you after the game. Again, one of the things about the team that I played for in the 80s, we were all very close. So we spent a lot of time together as a group. I think it's only human nature that you'll gravitate towards certain people. Doug Wilson and I hung around a lot, obviously defensemen. The defense and goaltenders did spend a lot of time together. We would have our infamous defense goalie lunches where we'd go out and lunch would turn into dinner, which would turn into late night festivities. So yes, if I'm being honest, I'm telling you, we spent a lot of time, the defensemen and goaltenders together.
Okay, so Doug Wilson had a hell of a heavy slap shot, all right? Who was the guy, though, that had the slap shot that you did not, that might have kept you up just a few minutes at night before thinking about, man, I know it's going to hurt?
Well, you know what? That's an interesting thing. It's goaltending is a position based on fear, okay? Maybe a lot of people don't know that, but it's definitely based on fear. What I mean by that is you're always afraid that you could get hurt. You could take one of those shots back when I played and it could hit a soft spot in your equipment and you could get seriously hurt. The other fear that you had as a goaltender is the fear of failing. I mean, it was a position. How many jobs do you know where every time you make a mistake, they turn a little red light on and they just to make sure that everybody knows you made a mistake, right? So it's very difficult from that position.
Wow.
There's always that fear factor. But Reed Larson, the guy that played with the Red Wings, had a really, really heavy shot. And when that thing hit you, it hurt. It hurt for days. So, every time we would be playing Detroit, And this might sound like a silly thing for a goaltender to say, but I was kind of thinking, geez, I hope he doesn't hit me tonight.
Oh damn, so glam, yes ma'am, grand slam, oh my, so fly, later boring, bye-bye, cherry red, purebred, dopamine to the head, to the head, to the head.
New City.
OMG, an SUV from Italy, 500 HP, princess, red dress, hell yes, hashtag blessed, pure power, rush hour, damn.
New City.
I need a cold shower.
New City.
Cracking codes, ditching roads, heart screams, mind explodes, wide-eyed, thrill ride, no Jekyll, all hard, there we go, stole the show, say my name.
New City, Alfa Romeo FIAT, Chicago.
I know. I was driving while hot.
The Fiat 500X crossover. The perfect fashion accessory to complement any look, even blue steel.
Honestly, it's some of my best work.
New City, Alfa Romeo FIAT, Chicago.
The way they play today is absolutely a better style. It's a more efficient style to play, and it's going to be a more successful style as far as stopping the puck than when I played. Taking away the bottom part of the net, that's the easiest place for somebody to score. You've never seen anybody shoot the puck under the net, right? But you see lots of pucks go over the net. So now you're going to make that guy pick a spot. It's going to be a little bit more difficult for him. So the change in goaltending equipment changed the way the goaltenders play.
So let's talk about your worst injury that you had to overcome during your playing time.
No, I was pretty fortunate that I really didn't have any major injuries. You would get the normal bruises, pulled muscles, muscle strains. I believe, best of my recollection, and I did get hit in the head a few times, but to the best of my recollection, I only missed 1 or 2 games because of an injury. I had they call your psoas muscle, which is down around your groin area. I had done the splits one night and then get a little tug on it, and so I had a pulled muscle that they said the only thing you could do, you couldn't wrap it, you couldn't really treat it, it was just rest it. So I missed a couple games with that, but that was really, from what I can remember, the only games that I really missed.
That's fascinating. So, like Pilates or yoga, is that part of the routine that players use now or then?
It's probably part of the routine now. Core development and flexibility is obviously very important. I was always very flexible, and I spent a lot of time. I never did yoga or Pilates. I had my own programs, if you will, based on what worked for me, but it was a lot of stretching, a lot of reactionary quickness type of things, which is obviously good for goaltending.
So do you still stay active today?
Not really, from a hockey standpoint. Well, you get older, right? It's a little tougher. A little history, I did play in a game last February.
No, and how did you feel the next day?
The next 3 weeks were tough. What had happened is they had the Stadium Series, and what the NHL is doing in conjunction with these games is the day before the NHL games, they're having alumni games at the same time.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So it was in Minneapolis at University Stadium, and we played Saturday afternoon. Now, I had not had goal equipment on in 12 years. So I got some stuff from the Hawks, so the new stuff, and if I would have had that equipment, I might have been able to play an extra 10 years. It's so much lighter, the protection is unbelievable. So I went on the ice, played, and I actually went and played half a game, and Yes, about 3 weeks later, I started to feel like I could move again.
You know, one thing here at New City Alfa Romeo and Fiat, you know, a lot of times we realize, you know, people just kind of need help when it comes into many different, you know, situations. A lot of time it comes in, you know, where circumstances in your life change. You know, I mean, you got a great thing going, your career ends, but now you've been able to make the better of your still today, your future, and you're still growing as an individual and everything. But let's talk about how you overcame from going from being a professional athlete, you know, is a celebrity, you know, and a legend actually in the city of Chicago, is to now, you know, how you adapted into, so to speak, real life like the rest of us.
Well, let me say this, it's tough. But I truly believe that, and this goes back to hockey players in general, especially from my era. A lot of us came from smaller towns. We just grew up with a work ethic. You grew up playing hockey, which wasn't anything special. Everybody in the neighborhood, all the kids, everybody played, right? So it was a matter of, you know, you were a grown-up boy playing a little boy's game, and you happened to be good and make a living at it. So we all knew it wasn't going to last forever. And so once it was over, once you get over that shock and then you adjust, you just fall back on the work ethic that you've always had, because if you didn't have it, you wouldn't have never been in the NHL playing. So you fall back on that, and let's be honest, I played in the greatest sports city in the world, and having played a sport professionally in this city gives you a lot of credibility and a lot of, it opens a lot of doors for you. And believe me, I used every bit of that. So I worked hard and I used what I had, and life goes on.
I can't believe this is how people date now. Ooh, and a sexy car. Don't let your credit stop you from getting in. Get off the dating sites and get into what you want. Experience the new X Factor, the hottest CUV from Italy for just $17,500. I had a great time tonight, and you have a really sexy car. Come on in.
Get off the dating sites and get into a Fiat.
New City Alfa Romeo and Fiat, 24th in Michigan and Chicago, steps away from McCormick Place.